My Spiritual Journey by Erez Asher. Episode 3. Finding Knowledge. After spending a few years seeking knowledge after my spiritual awakening in the summer of 2012, I began to actually find what it was that I was looking for. But it wasn't in the form or the place that I thought it would be. I thought that if I took courses and workshops and read books and studied hard, that I would become educated enough to learn the knowledge that I was looking to find. But that was not actually the case. Because it turns out that the knowledge that I was seeking was not something outside of myself, but rather something inside of myself. And I really only became aware of this after experiencing plant medicines starting in late 2015. So to understand how and why this is the case, I think it's necessary to first understand what plant medicines are and how they work. So, plant medicine is really just a term that's used to refer to extracts of naturally derived psychoactive substances, meaning substances that affect the functioning of the nervous system. Now, these are not the same as drugs, because drugs are chemically synthesized. This allows for mass production, consistency of dosage, and so on, which is not really possible, feasible the same way for plant medicines. Plants vary from season to season, from locale to locale. When something is picked, what nutrients it's having will affect what's being grown quite substantially. In addition, the means of application, the means of ingestion or intake, the context, because this is based on the nervous system, how our internal state is already in setting, the nature of the containment, all these things have a very notable impact, very notable influence on how plant medicines work and to what extent they are able to work well and for what purpose. Plant medicines are very complicated and have been studied extensively over a period of centuries and millennia by indigenous cultures. And because of this, for non-indigenous cultures, there's generally a sense of distrust or devaluation, a bit of fear around plant medicines. That is because of this lack of knowledge, really. And so in the same way that a medicine can be used to facilitate wellness, it can also be used to facilitate illness. And so there is some basis for concern in terms of, yes, there needs to be wise, knowledgeable utilization of these medicines. They're not for everyone in all cases. And that said, they were absolutely essential for me to find the knowledge that I was seeking, because the knowledge that I was seeking was knowledge of self. And that was facilitated by plant medicines, because what they were doing is they were easing open the nervous system. There are types of plant medicines that actually do the opposite. They're excitatory versus inhibitory. Examples of this would be tobacco and coca, which is the basis of cocaine. But for the most part, most plant medicines are actually inhibitory, or they relax open portions of the nervous system. So that said, the aspects of the nervous system and the effects that they have can generally be delineated or differentiated into 4 different directions of a medicine compass or medicine wheel. These are often referred to as either body, mind, heart, and spirit, or physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And these are 4 different directions that the effects of a plant medicine can take in terms of how it is being received and processed by the nervous system. So for me, the first one that was most important was actually heart medicine, heart opening medicine, because I did not know how closed and shut down my heart was. I did not realize that I hadn't allowed myself, even known how, to be able to feel the degree of openness, degree of love and acceptance and welcoming, which is inherent, but it's only feasible when we're not in a state of fear and fight or flight. So I had been raised in a culture and a family that was very fearful and very shut down emotionally. And because of this, my nervous system had been trained to be shut down. I did not know what it was like to feel fully. And because of this, since I did not know what it was like to feel fully, I did not know large portions of myself, large portions of my heart. And as I experienced more and more opening in these different directions, I was able to access more self-knowledge about my body, more self-knowledge about my mind, the beliefs that I had been blocking myself from being aware that I was believing, and also spirit, the entire realms and dimensions that I had been in complete denial of and was basically ignoring, thinking that they weren't real. Well, actually they are. And when you experience these things, you can begin to start to understand them. But most people that I was encountering, that I grew up with, we'd shut ourselves down from any kind of stuff like that. That was deemed crazy talk. But this process of opening myself was absolutely essential to find the knowledge I was seeking, to find and experience the knowledge of self. And it's not done. The knowledge of self is not complete. It is ever progressing, it is ever growing as an organism, as I am, as we all are. So this notion of allowing the opening to knowledge is what allowed me to find the knowledge that I was seeking. And that's what has allowed me to then progress on my spiritual journey. So with that said, I hope you found this video to be informative and entertaining. And I wish you many blessings and a beautiful rest of your day.